Hello, good morning, class. Welcome once again to our introduction to natural science class. This time we are on Unit 2, but I hope you are all doing very well, and I hope you are also able to visit our V class. Go through our videos for Unit 1 and also do the activities. I have received the submission of assignment from some of you. The rest of you are yet to submit. So those of you who have not been able to submit your assignment, do very well to submit them. For today, we will talk about how scientists work. So without wasting much time, let's go on to our lesson for today. Today, we are going to learn about how scientists work. How do scientists work? The work of a scientist is to find solutions to problems facing human beings. And scientists does this by using the scientific method. What is the scientific method? The scientific method is a systematic approach or steps used by scientists in solving problems. The scientific method or the systematic approach used by scientists include the following. First, scientists identify the problem. By identifying the problem, they first take steps to see and understand the problems by asking all the necessary questions and then finding answers to it. And if they are able to do this, they put the answers together in a meaningful way. So that is what is involved when scientists identify the problems. Second step is that they make hypotheses. What is hypothesis? Hypothesis is asking questions to make to find the answers. And scientists are able to make intelligent guesses. That is what we call hypothesis. They make intelligent guesses about the problems in order to find solutions to them. Scientists also carry out experiments. That is the next steps after they have made the hypothesis. The scientist carries out experiment to test the hypothesis or guesses that they have made, the cause of the problem or the solutions to the problem, and then they come out with a sensible conclusion. So that is all about carrying out experiment. After carrying out the experiment, they analyze the results. And how do scientists analyze their results? They analyze their results by looking at the record from the experiment. Then the scientists ask themselves, it should depend solely on the information recorded without testing the facts, or does it need to agree? So they make experiments, they analyze it, and then after analyzing their results, they make deduction and conclusions. So the last steps of the scientific method is the making of deduction and conclusion. So after analyzing the results, if it proves that the hypothesis is correct, then the other experiments may be planned to test it further for verification. If the results fails to prove the hypothesis, then that idea is put aside and a new one is selected for testing. And that is what is involved in making deductions and conclusion. Now we have learned about the scientific methods. We have learned that first scientists identify problems, they make hypotheses, they carry out experiments, they analyze results, and they make deduction and conclusion. Let's look at a typical way a scientist will use scientific method to solve a problem of cholera outbreak in our community. Now, First, as a scientist, I'll have to identify the problem. So, how will you, as a scientist, identify the problem? The scientists will have to go to the community to observe the activities of the people. For instance, when I go to the community, I may observe that the people there are vomiting and they are eating themselves frequently. So, as a scientist, I ask myself a question, or you ask a question to find answers to them. How come these people are vomiting and eating themselves? Now, is it because of the water they drink, or is it because of the food they are eating? How do they store their water? How do they dispense their refuse? These are questions that you make. These are observations also that you make. After making these observations, you make hypothesis. That is the intelligent guess. You can say, I guess they are eating themselves because the water they are drinking is not good. And because of that, there are germs in the water that is making the people sick. So I moved from my step one to step two, and I've made my hypothesis. Therefore, I want to carry out experiment. Since I am suspecting the water has a problem, I will go to the water source, collect a sample of the water, send it to the lab to examine the water to find out. Now, when I go and examine the water, I find out that indeed there are some bacterials and impurities and sediments in the water. So I said, I think it's because of these impurities that are making the people sick. So I'll make my deductions. I'll make my deductions. And from the analysis, I can deduce that it is really the sediments and impurities in the water that is making the water unsafe for drinking, and hence that is why the people are sick. So this is just a simple way of using the scientific method to solve problems. Now, let's look at the importance of the scientific method. How is the scientific method so important? Why do we need to learn it? The scientific method is important because it provides a logical procedure for arriving at knowledge. There is a format. So when something is wrong, you follow this format. It gives you a logical procedure. First, I'll go and identify the problem. I'll make a hypothesis. I'll carry out experiment. I'll observe and my results and then make deductions. So it gives you a logical way to analyze problems and situations we find ourselves. Also, the scientific method is important because it provides knowledge that can be verified or tested. Yes, these knowledges that comes out, people have gone through the process and they have tested it. And scientific method is also important because it provides information on the existence of specimen, which otherwise thought may not be in existence. So because of the scientific method, researchers are able to find out specimens which we thought may not be in existence. The scientific method is also important because it leads to the discovery of new things. Okay, so now that you have learned about the importance of the scientific methods, let's go on to look at some of the problems that scientists face. One major problem that scientists face is the lack of support for research. Scientists need huge amounts of money in order to do their research, but sometimes because of difficulties, they are not able to acquire these resources and support, and therefore they are not able to engage in research. Another challenge that scientists face is the scientific findings that they come out are usually not implemented. They can go make good findings, but those in authorities may not implement them. And sometimes when they do implement them, they do it, they delay in doing it. Another problem that scientific face is that science is given less attention. Many people do not want to go into science. Also, the tools and experiments used by scientists to conduct experiments and to train others are very, very expensive. And because of that, scientists do not have all the necessary tools that they need. Another is that most of our students who would want to become scientists are forced to do other courses because they do not have the funds, they do not have the resources to study to become scientists. Studying science is expensive, and due to financial constraints, most of our students are not able to study science, and that is sad. We need to, as a country, be able to help all our students who are interested in doing science to do it. They shouldn't stay home because they cannot afford to do science. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. This brings us to the end of our lesson for today and the end of our chapter for Unit 2. I hope you were able to get something. Please go back to your V class. There is an assignment there for you. In our next meeting, we will discuss those assignments. Bye for now. Bye bye.